Every generation has dreamers. Some speak loudly about their dreams. Others chase them silently. But there's a group of young dreamers the world never talks about. The ones who had nothing, yet dared to want everything. This is their story. They didn't have fancy schools. They didn't have money. They didn't even have people who believed in them. But they had something stronger, a fire that refused to die. The world called them ordinary, but inside they were extraordinary. Let's start with a girl named Emma. She lived in a small village where people thought dreams were only for rich kids. Her father was a carpenter. Her mother sold fruits at the local market. Every night, Emma would help her mother close the stall, then sit under the single streetlight reading her old school book. She didn't have Wi-Fi, she didn't have YouTube lessons, but she had hunger, not for food, but for knowledge. People told her, "Emma, girls here don't go far. Just finish school, get married, live quietly." But Emma looked at the stars and whispered, "I was not born to live quietly." She wanted to become an engineer. And every night when the village slept, she studied, using old notes, torn pages, and a mind that refused to quit. One night there was a storm. The lights went out. The whole village went dark. But Emma didn't stop. She lit a candle, placed it near her notebook, and kept reading. Her hands shook from the wind, her eyes hurt from the smoke, but she didn't give up. Weeks later, she saw an announcement, a scholarship exam for students from rural areas. She knew that was her chance. She studied harder. Days became nights. Sleep became a luxury. The day of the exam came. She traveled 3 hours by bus with nothing but a small bag and a big dream. When she arrived, she felt nervous. Everyone there looked confident, well-prepared, and well-dressed. She looked at her torn book and smiled sadly. But then she remembered her mother's words. "You don't need to look like a winner. You just need to think like one." When the results came 2 weeks later, she cried. Not because she failed, but because she passed. Rank number 1. She got a full scholarship. That night, she went to her mother and said, "Mom, we did it." Her mother hugged her and whispered, "No, my child, you did it." And as Emma boarded the bus to the city, the whole village watched her go. Some smiled, some didn't understand, but Emma knew she was walking toward her future. Now meet Ravi. He grew up in a noisy town, surrounded by traffic, chaos, and dreams that often disappeared into thin air. His family ran a small repair shop. Ravi was good with hands, but better with ideas. He wanted to build things, machines, robots, anything that moved. But he didn't have parts, tools, or teachers, just imagination. One day, he saw an old broken fan in the garbage. He took it home. He cleaned it, fixed it, and made it spin again using a battery and wire. That was his first creation. But people laughed. "You're wasting time with garbage," they said. Ravi smiled and replied, "Maybe, but one day my garbage will fly." Months later, he built a small drone from broken parts, bottle caps, toy motors, old wires. He tested it in an open field. It flew for 10 seconds, then crashed. He didn't cry. He picked it up, fixed it again, and tried once more. 10 seconds became 20. 20 became 30. And one day, his drone stayed in the air for a full minute. He posted a video online. Within days, people from all over the world started watching it. A university professor saw it and offered to mentor him. That one video changed his life. Ravi went on to study robotics, and today He builds machines that help farmers and hospitals. He always says, "My dream was never to be rich. My dream was to prove that innovation can come from anywhere." Now, let's travel to another dreamer. Lena, a shy girl from a crowded city, loved drawing. But in her home, art was not considered a career. Her parents wanted her to study medicine, but Lena's heart belonged to colors. Every night when everyone slept, she drew on old newspapers, cardboard, even broken walls. Her room was filled with sketches of people, places, dreams. One day her father saw her drawings and frowned. "You'll never earn from this," he said. She lowered her eyes and quietly replied, "Maybe not now, but one day, people will see what I see." Months later, Lena joined an online art contest. Thousands of entries. She almost didn't apply. But something inside whispered, "You have nothing to lose." She drew the story of her own life, a girl painting light in a dark room. Weeks passed. She forgot about the contest. Then one morning, her phone buzzed. She opened her email and froze. She had won. Her art was displayed in a gallery in Paris. Her name, Lena Rivera, written in golden letters. Her father saw the news on TV. He didn't say much. He just smiled and said, "You were right. People can see what you see." That night, Lena wrote in her diary, "Dreams are not supposed to be easy. They are supposed to test if you really want them." Different dreams, different people, but one truth. None of them had the perfect start. None of them had a clear path. But they all had the courage to keep walking. And that's what made them unstoppable. Emma's scholarship turned into an engineering degree. Ravi's small drone became a company. Lena's drawings became famous worldwide. But what makes their stories beautiful is not the success. It's the journey. The moments when they could have quit but didn't. The world often celebrates the finish line. But these dreamers, they remind us that the real story happens before the victory. In the nights you can't sleep, in the moments you feel alone, in the times when you keep going even when no one is clapping. They are proof that a dream doesn't care where you were born. A dream only cares if you're brave enough to chase it. And maybe right now, as you're listening to this story, there's a dream sleeping inside you too. Maybe you've hidden it because people laughed. Maybe you've delayed it because life got busy. Maybe you think it's too late. But it's not. It never is. Dreams don't expire. They just wait patiently for you to come back. So tonight, remember Emma, Ravi, and Lena. Remember the candlelight, the broken drone, the girl painting in secret. Because they started with nothing and turned it into everything. If they could do it, you can too. Because every great story begins the same way, with a small whisper that says, "What if I don't give up?" So go ahead. Chase that dream again. Speak your idea out loud. Draw, build, learn, try. Because somewhere in the future, your story might be the next untold story that inspires the world. And maybe, when people talk about the dreamers who never stopped, they'll talk about you.